with all of the excitement based around the release of the Z06, and of course, me having a C6 Z06, which is like what I think is the best Corvette so far, specifically the C6 Z06. So I want a Z06, a C8, and the C8s, just like a lot of people, at first I was only a little hesitant. I wasn't totally against them, but I was a little hesitant. And then seeing them in person, it grew on me a little more. And then finally driving one, I was like, okay, they really, hit the mark with this car. Now, this was November 21. So it's pretty late. Allocations have been bought for years at this point. So I called my guys at Jim Ellis, and my guy told me to come down there. There's something I should see. And I go, and in the showroom is not even fully checked into the dealership yet, is a 2022 C8R IMSA edition, one of 1,000, special edition Corvette, basically. And so with this being the first of numbered C8s, it was a very desirable car to get, and people had ordered it, and now the orders were getting delivered. This was a car that was somewhere in the Northeast and had been rejected by the person who ordered it. And so Jim Ellis bought it, and it had only been in the dealer for about 2 days, I think. So I saw the car, and immediately, because of the interior package, because of the graphics package, and just the fact that it's the first numbered C8, I was standing in the dealership immediately like, yeah, I want this right now. My wheels started turning, and I started devising a plan to get this car. So I called my business partner, who we've done many deals with, and I do a lot of work with, and I maintain his car collection. And I said, I found a perfect way for us to get a Z06 allocation and to have what could be closest to the Z06 at this point in the garage and be able to play with it until the Z06 comes out, and then possibly trade it back to the dealer for Z06. It's bound to be a great investment. It's bound to go up. We all know numbered Corvettes go up. We can either flip it in 6 months or a year, or we can keep it and trade it for a Z06. Mostly what I was thinking is, if we buy this car now, I think that the contingency that I will put to the dealership is that I want a Z06 allocation. I'll buy this car right now for the sticker that you have it, which was $134, I believe. And these cars were probably $90 if you ordered them. So we're paying the $50,000 markup. There has to be an incentive or something that we get back from paying this markup. So I told Jim Ellis, I said, hey, I want a Z06 allocation. And they said, look, we're still open. We still have some slots, and we would definitely do that. And so I said, well, did you guys say slots? So what if I get 2 allocations? And they said, if you put the deposit down, we're still taking deposits on Z06. So that was it. $2,000 each. I put down $4,000, got 2 Z06 allocations, and we also bought the C8R. So it was really great. I love the car. The interior package, they won't even make anymore for the regular C8. You can still get those colors and the decal package, of course, but it's a numbered car, and however many people hate on this package, it's still one of 1,000. And I learned from my good friend Ed Bolian that low number cars are a good thing. I think I'm 183 of 1,000. So me and my business partner agreed that if we were going to have this numbered C8, that since we have a low production number, we would strive to be the lowest mile car available whenever we make it available. So we immediately bought the car. I put about 30 or 40 miles on it, and then we shelved it. We put it in storage, put the amazing car cover on it that has the race car on the outside of it, and we sat it up. So for about 3 or 4 months, we shelved the car. We didn't touch it. And I pulled it out at about 4 months, and I put just a few miles on it just to get around, take some photos of it. It was kind of, terrible to have it and not actually use it at all. So about 4 or 5 months goes by, and I probably have about 100 miles on the car. It's not even broken in. It hasn't even left out of the break-in period. I still can't rev it past 5,500 RPM. I haven't even felt the full power of the car yet. What happened was I was working and I was watching Barrett Jackson, and I saw a C8R sold for $300,000. And it was the same auction that the first Z06 sold for. It was well over $1 million. That, of course, piqued my interest. And as an investor in cars, I'm just thinking, this is great. And as I started to think, well, these Z06s might not come literally until end of the year. And because I'm potentially low on the list, or I guess we should say high on the list, I might not get my car until spring 23. If I want to make it, I may have a chance to buy some car like this C8R that somebody rejects, but it won't be the spec that I wanted. So I started to think about how long I might have to not have a Corvette, but have a C8 that I can't touch. With the Barrett Jackson being sold that high, I say, you know what? The next Barrett Jackson is in Palm Beach, Florida. I got low transport fees. I'm in Georgia. I can send the car to Florida very easily. And I think that right now, with used car values being where they were in spring this year, I think it's probably a prime time to put this car up and let's see what it does. And there had been some on Bring a Trailer, probably 3 by April. They all sold in the range of where I bought my car, maybe a little higher. But I assumed also that these were all people who bought their cars at MSRP. So that means they were making 50 grand. 40 grand on the car and haven't just taken delivery on it at end of the year. So I submitted the car to Barrett Jackson. I just jumped. I said, I'll do it. Went back and forth with the consignment experts and pictures and info. And, they have to have the title and all this stuff. And once it was all submitted and accepted, probably about 3 days after it was fully accepted and listed that it's going to be at the West Palm Beach auction, the director of I guess consignment or Barrett Jackson called me personally. I just thought maybe it was another consignment expert, and I was like, yeah, it's great, it's live, I saw it on it, it's awesome, I can't wait to come. And he was like, well, actually, we want to talk to you about that. We'd like to feature your car on prime time on Friday, which is the peak time for our auction. We think it's the best combination of miles and production number, that it's going to set the tone for the other C8Rs that will be at the auction. Now, at this point, I had only asked the consignment expert maybe once about other C8Rs. There was one already live when I submitted mine, and so I knew that'd make 2. And I asked him about it. I think he said he thinks there'll be 1 more. I said, okay, that's not terrible. There's 3 of them. I wish there was 1 of them, mine, but there's 3 of them. That's okay. And by the time I was speaking with the director, he said, well, we have 5 and we want yours to go first. And I was like, this is amazing. My hope was that it would bring 160, was where we could make a little money, cover our expenses for everything we did, and be sad that we sold an amazing car for some money. 180 was where we were like, that'd be nice. We'll make some actual money. And, it's worth not having the car. The guy that was next to me, this guy's car was like number 264 or something, but it had 58 miles on it. And that car went for 160. Mine went for 200. My business partner was extremely happy. It was more than we could have anticipated. It was, in the automotive world, when I do projects with people, I immediately underpromise and overdeliver. But in the underpromising section, it's very tough. All right, that sounds really easy, but I have to tell you in the beginning, none of this is going to work out how we planned it. Right? Or most of it isn't. there's going to be a left in the plan somewhere in building this car or buying this car or doing to this car. And I want to prepare you now. So when it comes, we're able to pivot and you're okay with it. That's the best way I have to build cars for people or do this type of work with people, is just be as transparent as possible. So for us initially, it's like, you know, in 6 months, we can evaluate where these cars are and decide if we're going to keep it until Z06s come out, or if we're going to try and sell it or whatever. We don't know at the beginning where they're going to be. So honestly, I jumped into this plan 4 months into ownership. So that was, you know, already early. So with us spending thousands of dollars preparing for Barrett Jackson, we don't know if we're going to lose our or if we're going to win big. I could have never guessed it was going to bring 200 grand, but I'm very glad it did.
Right now, I need all of you to click the link in the description below and visit Auto Tempest. Not only is it the best place to shop for your next car, but they're the ones that allow us to have so much fun doing Car Trek. I hope that you enjoyed Car Trek 8. We just released that on Freddie's channel, and now we're off to film 9 and 10. So seriously, we can't do it without you guys supporting Auto Tempest so they can keep supporting VinWiki and supporting Car Trek. It's honestly where I start most of my days because it allows me to search all the major listing sites at the same time. I find my cars faster, much more easily, and I find them in the nooks and crannies of the internet that I never would have found without Auto Tempest.